The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Live from Mellow Mushroom in the Cornerstone District in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Liberty Flames football show is on the air. Your chance to hear from Liberty head football coach Jamey Chadwell comes your way on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty Football Show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Football Show is also brought to you by Carter Bank and Trust, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames athletics. Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. Lynchburg Nissan, nobody beats our prices, nobody. Century Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at centuryexteriors.com. And by Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Right, high snap brought down by Salter. He throws end zone. Smith is there. He goes up. He comes down. He's got the ball. Light him up. Touchdown, Liberty. Reese Smith.
Now let's talk Liberty Flames football. Here's your host, the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
Good evening tonight from Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg. It's the Liberty Football Show with head coach Jamey Chadwell. I am your host, Alan York. We'll be joined by Coach Chadwell coming up here in just a couple of seconds. Liberty 4-0, 2-0 in Conference USA play, coming off their quasi-open date. We'll talk about the cancellation with Appalachian State this past Saturday. Liberty coming into their first midweek game on Tuesday against FIU. The Panthers will be in Lynchburg for a 7 o'clock kickoff. That'll be broadcasted nationally on the CBS Sports Network. And, of course, we'll be worldwide with our radio coverage beginning at 5:30 from the indoor practice facility. The Panthers 2-3, overall 1-0 in Conference USA play after a 17-10 win at home over Louisiana Tech. Coming up on the show, after we talk to Coach Chadwell for a couple of segments, we will hear from Quentin Cooley, running back for Liberty, and C.J. Bazell, defensive end for the Flames. They met with the media today, so we'll get their thoughts on the game coming up on Tuesday. Plus, we'll hear from Edward Graham. He works with Samaritan's Purse. Emily Austin, who does a great job with our TV broadcasts and our Flame Central show, caught up with Edward Graham on Monday to talk about hurricane relief efforts in western North Carolina and the Southeast, really. And our thoughts and prayers go out to those displaced, affected from Hurricane Helene over the weekend. And for those in the building here tonight at Mellow Mushroom, if you had loved ones that were displaced or affected by that hurricane, our thoughts and prayers go out to you as well. So that's coming up towards the bottom of the hour. And then we've got a microphone open for those that want to ask questions as well. And midweek on the mountain again coming up on Tuesday, 7 o'clock kickoff, Liberty and FIU. With that being said, our housekeeping duties are out of the way. Let's bring in our special guest once again, head coach of the Flames, Jamey Chadwell. Coach, thanks for coming in here tonight. You got your family with you as well.
Yeah,
and we shifted from Tuesday to Thursday for our midweek games coming up here in October. But how are you holding up? And good to see you tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Seems like it's been a while.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we're back in preparation, obviously, for an opponent there, and you know, I'll echo what you say. There's a disappointment that you did not get to play a game against a quality opponent, but also, as I shared earlier, sometimes we realize we're just playing a game. You know, in real life is happening, and from Florida all the way up the Southeast, and people have been devastated, lives have been lost, and you know, you definitely want to pray for the recovery, two, for just that whole region, and hopefully they can get back to some type of normalcy, you know, because it's going to be a challenging time for sure.
So I do want to recap, the last 4 or 5 days. Once you found out Friday morning, all of us found out that game would be canceled at Appalachian State. Being at practice last week and just talking to a lot of the guys, they were so excited for that game at Appalachian State. And we talked to you Tuesday on the radio shows. You prepped for the Mountaineers. Take us through that week, and then obviously when you found out on Friday.
One, you're coming off a big win versus another regional opponent, and you're feeling confident about that. You played well there and finished it off, and then you're playing another quality opponent that in G5 for a long time has been the benchmark, right? And so you got a chance to showcase what you're about against a team that's perceived as always being a top 5 G5 program, and we want to be that, right? And so a way to do that is you hopefully go get a win at somebody's place like that. And so there was a great week of prep, our best week that we'd had as far as just the focus and the excitement about playing. And then obviously there's a huge disappointment on Friday, and guys really wanting to play, and we were getting ready to have a meeting, and I get a call at 9:30 and said, hey, are you okay if the game moves to later on Saturday?
Yeah.
We can, if that's what we need to do. How about Sunday? Yeah, if that's what we need to do. And then it went from that, and then 10, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes, whatever it might have been, hey, it's canceled, just that quickly. And obviously that's how weather can happen and different things. And so it went from a high to high, and then you had to go we have a team devotion the day before every game. Have one at night and also one in the morning, and we were doing our one in the morning and had to share with the team. And there was obviously disappointment just from a purely wanting to play that game and knowing what that could have done for our program. A lot of guys were looking forward to that, and so there's a lot of disappointment in young people, and coaches as well. There's a disappointment. We might have better filters than some, than some young players. We have better filters, and we can think through some things. Sometimes young guys can say what they're thinking quickly without really thinking through it. But there was disappointment. Then it went to obviously seeing all the different challenges and the devastation went to that, to the disappointment, to knowing, hey, we share with them there's a purpose and there's a reason behind everything, and just praying that that what we were seeing on TV, that people could hopefully overcome it.
Joined by head coach Jamey Chadwell. The 4-0 Flames are back at home on Tuesday to host FIU in their next home game, next Conference USA game. Midweek on the mountain, as we like to call it, and year 2 of a 5-year TV deal with Conference USA and their national TV partners to have all the conference games midweek in the month of October. All right, you met with your team on Friday. How much time did you give them off before you got back on the field, Coach?
We were really, they came in Friday. They were supposed to do a stretch in our normal Friday routine. They were off Friday, Saturday, Sunday because you had extra time, before this game, obviously being midweek. So we gave them off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. At least from physical stuff, there was treatment, different things of that, and then we came back at it Monday. And Monday we was a fundamental day. We actually we didn't live scrimmage, but we scrimmaged each other. We did some things to try to continue to sharpen each other, because you miss a game where you play 100 and something snaps. You miss that. So there's a health part of it where you stayed healthy, but also you miss those opportunities to get better. So we tried to make that up on a Monday, and then we started Tuesday like a regular practice would be as far as getting ready for an opponent. We have obviously a couple of days of extra time, so we're taking advantage of that, doing some different things. But that's how it went out. So Monday was a really good. I think they were excited about being back, had that time off, got them back to routine, and hopefully getting some guys back healthy and some of those things. And we've had a good week so far. So we still got. You're still 5 days away, 5 days away. So you're not, we're still really probably in the middle of our preparation. So tomorrow will be, to me, what we, traditional Wednesday practice for us.
Right.
And then Saturday and Sunday will be like a traditional Thursday. We'll have a couple Thursday practices. We call that Attaboy Thursday. And then we'll be ready to go. And
it's a very unique, situation with your team and how this October schedule sits up. Throw the Appalachian State game away. East Carolina to Kennesaw State, you'll have one game in a 32-day span, or if my math is right. Very unique. And CJ Bazell mentioned today, one of your defensive stars kind of feels like fall camp again. And, again, but you've prepared a little bit in fall camp for these types of, long stretches.
We did. Obviously not going from September 21st to October 9th, and then October 9th not again until 23rd. If you think about it, you played a game on September 21st. You're playing one game between then and October 23rd. That's crazy. And so there's nothing you can do to prepare, but it is like a fall camp. The challenge with it is you can't go out and really scrimmage each other live just because you're 4 games in and you're 2 games into your conference season. You don't want to go out and injure your own guy, obviously, but you also have to maintain the intensity, maintain the hitting that you do, because that prepares you, right? And if you don't hit it all, then you're not ready when you have to turn it back on. And if you do it too much, then maybe you're banged up for it. There's a fine line there, and so hopefully we're managing that well. We feel like we got a good plan to raise it up and then slow it down a little bit and raise it back up. But our guys have to understand. We shared today with them, hey, whatever's happens in the past, and we lost a game, right? We're not going to get that game back. Nobody's going to, hey, let's schedule you. And so the only thing we can do to earn one of those games back is to go out and win another conference championship, because we can get another extra game that way.
Yep.
And so and then if you do that, maybe you get more extra, right? But that's the only way we're going to get that 12th game back. And so we really challenged them on really focusing on this conference and have an opportunity to go out and earn that extra game back.
Twofold, I guess, kind of thought here, Jamey, scheduling-wise. Your product, teams have a lot to lose by scheduling Liberty, okay? The October schedule is unique. If it was a more traditional Saturday, do you think the opportunity to get that 12th regular season game back would be more possible or not?
I think the biggest challenge with it is not necessarily when it is. Maybe you have a Saturday. It's more so of nobody else canceled a game except us.
Right.
Out of all the Southeast, nobody else canceled one. And so now you got to ask somebody to say, hey, this is your open date, and you've already got 12 games. You have to get a waiver from the NCAA to play a 13th one unless you play Hawaii.
Right.
And so that's what, to me, is more the challenge of it. It's not necessarily when it is. It's more who wants to play a 13th game. What does it do for you?
Yeah.
It might help Liberty, but does it help School X? Mm-hmm. Who knows, And then, so that to me is more the challenge that I think Ian is dealing with, is who's willing to do it. And then Hawaii can play 13 games, but they've already got whatever scheduled. Mm-hmm. And the people that schedule Hawaii can get a 13th game, but they've already got those scheduled, right? And so you would have to have another, and who wants that, another, devastating storm, and nobody wants that to happen. And so I think there might have been maybe an FCS schools that may be postponed. I've not seen if they've made it up or not, but that does not really help you in your overall scheme of things. You need to play somebody, whether G5 or higher, just to help what you're trying to get accomplished. And so it does make it challenging. And I know he's worked hard to try to see if any of that happened. But my last conversation, the phone's not been ringing.
Yeah.
So.
Joined by head coach Jamey Chadwell. Liberty football 4-0 on the year, 2-0 in Conference USA play. They'll be hosting FIU on Tuesday. The Panthers 2-3, 1-0 in Conference USA play. Final thought on losing that game, and the fans or the media are all talking about the CFP, the expanded playoff, and how that affects teams in the group of 5 that lose a game. And then I was thinking, okay, you have 11 games. All gas, no brakes, score as many points as you can to, the eye test, if you will. But you mentioned today, you're just chasing that standard, and whatever happens at the end, happens at the end. And I think you've done a good job of keeping your team kind of focused on the next play. And, hey, let's not worry about the college football playoff until it gets here. Yeah. And you kind of have to keep that tunnel vision, don't you?
Well, you do, because, you're going to be judged based off of some things that are quantifiable and some things it's just an eye test, right? And I think if you put so much focus on trying to get – and don't get me wrong, I think we all would love for that opportunity. And so I'm not sitting there saying we would love for that opportunity to happen. But if we're so focused on that, then you start not enjoying the wins if you win, because then it's a relief, and then you stop enjoying practice, because then it seems like it's more of a chore instead of something that you get to do. It seems more like you have to, and so we talk a lot about all the time. So what can we control? And if we can control how we play every week, and whoever's on our schedule going out and doing our best to play our best each Saturday and hopefully win those games, then at the end of the day, you hopefully you compare to others and it fits, And this year more than any, there's been from other G5s a lot of big wins against Power Fours and all that, and so and so you got to hope that you can continue to do well and you handle your business, and maybe other people don't, And then, again, it's up in the hands of some committee and all those things. And it's like last year it went in our favor, and we could be better this year, and it might not. That's just how it goes, And so, but our focus always has to be for us on us pursuing our best each no matter who we're playing. And I think if we do that, it gives us the best chance to win every game. And maybe we're not playing our best at certain times, but it allows us to come out and find a way to win. That's the end of the day.
We're up against our first break here of our Liberty Football Show presented by Freedom First Credit Union. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll take us through the meeting rooms and the position groups and where Coach kind of sees his team right now 4 games in. Again, Liberty FIU on Tuesday, midweek on the Mountain, 7 o'clock kickoff at Williams Stadium. Ticket information available at lufootball.com. Remember, our weekly shows shift to Thursday in October. We'll be right back here next week recapping the FIU game at 6 o'clock. We'll take our timeout here. This is the Liberty Football Show presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
It's Lynchburg Nissan's Rocktober Sell Down. Save over $7,500 off MSRP on select remaining 2024 models, or get 0% financing on 5 popular models in stock. Plus, right now, trade in your car and get up to 130% of fair KBB value. You heard right. Massive discounts, 0% financing, and huge trade-in offers all month long. Only at Lynchburg Nissan, home of the million-mile warranty. Visit us today or shop anytime at lynchburgnissan.com.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels in the Liberty Flames.
Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. With a focus on honesty, education, and excellence, they light the way to savings, home comfort, and a greener future. Educating homeowners about the power of solar and energy efficiency is their winning game plan. Give Earthright Mid-Atlantic a call today at 434-200-9716 or visit erepower.com.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames Football Show presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
Moving right along on this Thursday night from Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg. Good crowd on hand and great support from Mellow Mushroom last couple of years for our radio show, and Freedom First Credit Union, our presenting sponsor. I want to thank their partnership with our great sponsorship group Van Wagner, who's in the house here tonight. Kyle and Justin doing a great job, as they always do here as well. So if you hadn't met Kyle and Justin, they're getting some pizza right now, so stop by and say hello to them. And joined by head coach Jamey Chadwell. What do you got, Coach?
Justin's always eating.
And it's good food here tonight.
Yeah,
we got some pizza. Yeah, we got pizza right next door and the good sandwiches and salads. Always a good time here at Mellow Mushroom. We'll be here again next Thursday recapping the next game, which is coming up on Tuesday, FIU. The Panthers 2-3, 1-0 in Conference USA play. And we'll talk about the Panthers coming up towards the end of our show. Still to come here in about 10 minutes, we'll be hearing from Quentin Cooley and C.J. Bazell. They met with the media today, so we'll let you listen to that. And also Edward Graham. We have a taped interview with Edward Graham from Samaritan's Purse. He's going to give information for those that feel led to give in any form or fashion to the hurricane relief efforts in the Southeast. Emily Austin with our TV crew met with Edward earlier this week, so we'll play back that interview as well. All right, Coach, let's talk about your Flames of the Week last week leading into Appalachian State. And we'll start with freshman Jacob Taylor, who's from nearby Appomattox.
Yeah, Jacob actually is a offensive lineman for us.
Okay.
And but we've had some injuries up front on the defensive line. So during our show team segment, we move him over to D-line, and he rotates in there for us to give some guys. And he really, not necessarily he's a D-lineman by any means, but he gave us a great look, made the guys work, and he really earned a great recognition for that week.
And on the graphic, the next guy we're going to talk about is freshman Bam Knox, who's from Chesapeake. I looked up, I tried to find Bam in the roster, and his first name is Jamari. So he goes by Bam, and that's what was on the graphic. So Bam Knox, tell us about him.
Yeah, Bam's a receiver, and was banged up earlier when he first got here. Got banged up a little bit, and is finally getting healthy. And he was playing the position receiver there for their best player of App's best player at receiver, and was running around doing all kinds of stuff, and really gave our guys a great look for that. And had a well-deserved honor. He's getting better each week. He tore his ACL in high school, and so finally getting back to where he's getting comfortable and overcoming the injury.
Yeah. Our final Flame of the Week, and again, all of these are true freshmen. McDonough, Georgia native Caden Whidbey.
Yeah, Caden joined us, actually in the spring of this year, and so had a chance to learn a little bit while he was here, and so he's a little farther along than maybe somebody that just got here. But he's a guy that we think has a bright future, very talented, really can run, learning how to play the defensive position at linebacker, but can really run. We actually have played him at a couple of different positions, linebacker and a rush end, and gives us a great look as well.
So those are the Flames of the Week. Again, those are players honored leading up to the Appalachian State ball game coming up last week. All right, health-wise, ECU, you lost Brylan Green. Update us on his prognosis. A couple of others, Jay Hardy, D lineman, and Juju Gray, wide receiver.
Yeah, Brylan, we're hoping. There's a chance he'll play this week. It's all. When you have a concussion, that's what he had. When you have something like that, it just takes a while. There's a process that they have to go through and a return to play. And we're hopeful he can play. We're not banking on it. We're practicing in a way that he's not going to play, but we hope he can come back. Jay is getting better. Jay's still not where he needs to be. So with Jay, it's more of if we wait one more game. And then you're not playing again for another couple weeks after that, or how many days it is. Does that give him an opportunity to be 100% healthy? So that's the plan there. Juju is still out. He's not going to play this week. We're hoping something similar, that after this week that he's back healthy and he's got a couple weeks to get back in shape and be ready to go for the stretch run there. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Dante Lee's questionable.
Okay.
Questionable, but hoping he gets back, but he's questionable right now.
All right, let's kind of take a spin around your position groups, Coach, and just kind of give State of the Union address on on where those things are. We'll start offensively. Caden Salter, obviously, we know his ability. I wanted to talk about the backups right now. Ryan Berger, Nate Hampton, who haven't been in the last couple of games due to the fact that there've been some close games that you've won, but developing them and getting them some, practice reps behind Caden. How are they doing?
Yeah, so we, the way we practice, your ones get so many. We whether we're doing team against each other, whether it's our trade, we try to split the reps with the ones and the twos. The ones get a little bit more, but ones and twos, and then the threes will get some. And I say some, maybe a 4 here, 6 here, whatever it may be. And so Ryan's getting very similar reps to Caden as far as preparation-wise, and then Nate will get, maybe 10 or 12 a week, just enough so he knows what to do in case something happens, right? And so, but Ryan's getting better weekly. The way you get really good is if you get some actual live game reps. We've just not been able to do that, obviously, because the game's the way they've been flowing and some of those things, and maybe not playing as well as we'd like to offensively. But we like how both of them are. If they need to come in, they can run the offense. They can help us move the football. They both know what to do and continuing to get better each week.
How about special teams-wise? Colin Carr-Hughes, your place kicker, not a live field goal attempt since week 2 at New Mexico State. How do you implement, quick change type of things for a kicker in practice?
Yeah, so we always start practice or do something with some type of kicking, whether it's we call it like a tempo period where we have to 3 or 4 plays and then have to go line up for a field goal, get a couple. Then we'll have a specific field goal situations. We might have a 2-minute drill with a field goal situation. So you put them in some of those each week, some of those situations, and sometimes they make them, sometimes they don't. But the hardest challenge anytime you're trying to get a kicker ready is it's so hard to simulate the pressure of the moment, right? Whatever it may be. And so you're hoping you're doing those things and preparing for that, but it's still going out there in front of 20-something thousand and making the kick when we need to. And so, those guys, because you're missing those opportunities to actually kick field goals, you're kicking extra points, which is great. We'd rather kick extra points than field goals any day. But those guys do work, and I say him and Braden, those guys are our 2 field goal guys. They do well, and along with our other specialists, Max punting and does a nice job for us. He's also our kickoff guy. So we do things each week to make sure they're staying sharp.
Joined by head coach Jamey Chadwell. Liberty and FIU will hit the gridiron on Tuesday, 7 o'clock kickoff here in Lynchburg. All right, running back room coach, Quentin Cooley, Billy Lucas. You go back at last year's box against FIU. They both ran for 100 yards. I don't know. I'm going to go back and look. I don't know how many schools have had a 100-yard rusher in all of their games so far. You guys have. And they just seem to really complement each other well in the backfield.
Yeah, they're a great 1-2 punch. They both have great vision. They're both physical runners. They can run through arm tackles, which is huge. And so, and they both stayed healthy. Obviously Q got hurt there a little bit, was able to come back. And so they're a great combination. And the challenges are we continue to build depth. James Joyner, somebody that has gotten better. He had a setback in practice a little bit, so we think he's going to be out a little while. But we're getting a Vic Venn back hopefully soon. You've got obviously a Von Blue there, and then the freshman Caden. We think Caden's going to be a great player for us, and so he's not played hardly at all, but he's still got 3 games he can play. So we're trying to figure out when to use him to make sure to keep guys healthy in case some guys aren't. We're excited about it. We got a solid group there. And they're getting better. That's when Billy and Cooley, they can maybe miss a game, right, but that we don't play. But a James or a Vaughn or even a Vic, if he's healthy, and a Caden, if they get those opportunities of playing games, it just helps get them ready for situations we need. And so, our depth has taken a little hit there, but we still feel like we've got a good group overall.
Speaking of depth, getting John Paul Flores back, offensive lineman who missed a little time. He played over 50 snaps against East Carolina. Getting that group back to, better health, I should say, obviously benefits your running game and pass blocking.
It does. Anytime up there, those 5 playing together, it's such a chemistry thing. And then JP was, spring, and then all fall camp, he's up there with the ones in a certain position, and you lose him, and now you shuffle people around. And it just takes a while for those guys to learn how to play off each other. You had to take a starting center when he went down and move him, all-conference center, move him to guard, and then put a freshman center in. And so it took some growing and some challenges, but getting him back, and then addition to him getting back, but also DJ Geff's played a little bit more snaps than maybe he would have, and then Jordan Hall has gotten some good snaps for us. And so now you feel like you're building some depth because they've been able to play in a game, and maybe they've not played great, but they're getting that experience. And so, you want to have 8 guys, hopefully 8 guys that you feel like if something happened, you got 8 guys that you can throw in there and play. And with getting JP back, that solidifies us. That allows, maybe DJ to, if he needs to play, he can, but if not, you feel good about who you got in there, and he can continue to grow. And so that getting him back has been a good addition for us, and I think we played our best game up front, and he's a big reason why.
How about your pass catchers? We'll start with your tight end group. It's a veteran group led by Bentley Henshaw. Austin Henderson, Jacob Jenkins also has really started to get in the fold with your game plan there. Kind of start there and then work your way to your wideouts.
Yeah, I think we've got a good group there. I think statistically we're probably not catching as many balls at that position right now than we had last year. For whatever reason that is, it might be how people are playing us or different things. So that's been I don't want to say a head scratcher, but just looking at it going, they're not catching, and it's not for not them being out in routes or whatever. It's just where the ball's not came to them. But it's a good group. And they do what they're asked. They're very selfless players. I think we've got a really deep group there. I mean, some guys that can go in and whether that's catching, whether it's blocking, just being the guys, because we play quite a few tight ends, and so it's been positive. And as you transition to receivers, obviously we've had some up and down injuries and some of those things, but Trayon Sibley's been very consistent for us all, and he played really well. Obviously got hurt going in ECU, but he played really well and really helped us maybe overcome some poor, sluggish things on offense because of some of the plays he's made, right, leading up to that. Yeah. You're excited about Darius Copeland. He gets started. Reese Smith been banged up. He's finally coming back healthy, and so I think we're getting better. I think those guys are understanding the road. Dante Lee's coming along, and you're missing a Juju there that would be another guy that explosive. And so all of our plans that we had in the preseason have went to crap, and so, but those guys are getting better weekly, but they're earning the trust of the quarterback, which is most important. And I think that's been the key, as you've seen as we went. Some guys are making some plays when the ball's there, and I think our quarterbacks get more comfortable with him, and that's really helping us become a better offense.
All right, Jamey, I see your pizza and your salad are here, so we're going to let you scoot over there for just a couple of minutes, and then towards the top of the hour, we'll bring you back in. We'll talk about FIU, and then we'll wrap it up. And coming up next on our show here from Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg, we'll hear from Quentin Cooley and CJ Bazell, who had their media availability today as they talk about FIU coming up on Tuesday. And also a quick interview, our Emily Austin with Edward Graham from Samaritan's Purse. Again, they'll talk about ways that if you feel led to help the recovery efforts of Hurricane Helene, those affected by that in the southeast, they'll have information on that. And I know there's some groups from Liberty that are also helping out as well. And there's a great story on how our university is helping those efforts. You can go to our website, liberty.edu, and search for that story that was posted if not yesterday, a couple of days ago. So that's coming up on our radio show. Then we'll bring Coach back up in about 20 minutes or so to wrap it up, get his thoughts on his defense as well. As we talk Liberty football tonight from Lynchburg, Mellow Mushroom, the place to be, as our Liberty football show with head coach Jamey Chadwell, presented by Freedom First Credit Union, continues after this on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
At Carter Bank & Trust, we believe in a life lived full of plans, promise, and continuous growth. It's why our checking and savings accounts make it easy for you to earn high interest on your balance, so your money grows faster. all backed with the digital banking tools you need. So there's nothing holding you back from living life to the fullest. Open your new Carter Bank checking or savings account online in minutes at cbtcares.org or visit your local branch. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Athletics, member FDIC.
Curious about the Central Virginia housing market? Carl Miller Realty are your caring, competent, trusted advisors for real estate sales in Central Virginia. With over 100 years of combined experience, they are committed to helping clients make informed housing decisions. For a winning game plan and to discover the value of your home, visit carlmillerrealty.com to make your next move a slam dunk.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Thompson Brooks Insurance has been serving Virginia for over 40 years, helping individuals and businesses with their insurance and investment needs. The team at Thompson Brooks is experienced in understanding life and health insurance, Medicare, and retirement planning. Thompson Brooks Insurance can be reached at 434-385-8500 or online at thompsonbrooksinsurance.com. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow.
Century Exteriors offers exterior home renovations, including but not limited to gutters, roofing, siding, home additions, and much more. Century Exteriors makes the process seamless. Call 434-239-6722 for a free on-site estimate or visit centuryexteriors.com and Century Exteriors on Facebook and Instagram. Century Exteriors is a proud supporter of Liberty Flames Athletics.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
Moving right along on this Thursday night from Mellow Mushroom. Don't forget, our October shows shift to Thursday on our midweek on the Mountain Games. And next one coming up on Tuesday, 7 o'clock kickoff, Liberty hosting FIU. Third meeting between the Flames and the Panthers. Liberty 2-0 all-time against FIU. They won in Miami last year, 38-6. Quick recap of that game. Both Quentin Cooley and Billy Lucas ran for 102 yards each. Liberty defensively had 5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, and outgained the Panthers 520 to 211, including 364 yards on the ground. So that's coming up on Tuesday, 7 o'clock. You can watch it on the CBS Sports Network. You can also listen to us on our worldwide Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner coverage. And you can also watch our radio broadcast on our Facebook stream, facebook.com/LFSN radio. We got about 200 watching right now, including Gregory in Baltimore. And Ruthie is watching from the sidelines of her 12-year-old's football practice in Michigan. It's dedication there, Ruthie. Not only watching from the sidelines, but also our broadcast here tonight. We'll be rejoined by head coach Jamey Chadwell coming up in about 20 minutes. We'll get his take on FIU at the end of our show. Coming up next, though, we'll hear from Quentin Cooley, running back for Liberty, and C.J. Bazell plays the joker position, defensive end for Liberty. They met with the media earlier today to talk about FIU. But before that, we're going to hear from Edward Graham from Samaritan's Purse. He met with our Emily Austin earlier this week on ways you can donate, give any way that you can for the Hurricane Helene relief efforts. And we'll hear that first. Here's Emily Austin with Samaritan's Purse, Edward Graham.
We're now joined by Samaritan's Purse Chief Operating Officer Edward Graham. He oversees the international and domestic operations of those impacted by catastrophic events. This one happening where Samaritan's Purse headquarters is located. Edward, try to describe the devastation that you're seeing in Boone, North Carolina right now.
Yeah, well, thanks, Emily, for having me. It's hard to put in words. I've been born and raised here and came home about 6 years later after moving away from the military, and I've never seen flooding like this. Hurricane Hugo is kind of the benchmark we've always used, and this just trumps Hugo. The old timers will talk about the 40s, and they say it was worse than that. This is bad. You're watching entire communities gone, devastated, so bad so that even our medical systems needed help. We've set up not just our normal disaster relief we do all the time that Samaritan's Purse may be known for, but we're also set up some medical capabilities here at the Watauga Hospital. We set up an oxygen station and tent with staff there because people couldn't recharge and didn't have power to their oxygen system, so they were coming to us. And then we did the same thing in nearby Avery County. Now Avery County has asked for a Tier 1 hospital, and we're setting that up there to help deal. Avery is going to be it was decimated, and it's just these narrow valleys. When this much water comes in, it destroys large parts of communities built alongside of them, and it's hard to watch. But I tell you what, this morning we had a couple hundred volunteers show up at my local church to start going out just here in Boone, and hundreds went out. I think it was over 350 volunteers went out, and that started also in Asheville, North Carolina, where we're headquartered and set up there at the Billy Graham Training Center along I-40. We're also in Perry, Florida, Tampa, Florida, and Valdosta, Georgia. Volunteers all going out today. So even though we're crawling out ourselves with staff being hurt by this and staff that lost their homes, they're already getting after it.
Heartbreaking to hear, but great to hear that. Usually, though, you're traveling to these disaster areas, this one happening in your own backyard. How is it different going through this tragedy personally, as well as seeing your other loved ones go through it as well?
Yeah, I just left. I'm dressed this way because I just left a house a little while ago down the street, and this is someone that I grew up with, and his wife works with us in Operation Christmas Child, and his mother and father helped start Fellowship of Christian Athletes with my mother here, and Coach Mac Brown, when he was at App State, they started AFCA together. And so to go to their house and to look at it and to see it, it breaks your heart. It does. This is family and friends. And so it's hard to stay focused. And but remember, we're also responding all over the world. I'm in Samaritan's Purse is in 20 different countries. We're responding in the Middle East, working there in Israel. We're in Ukraine. We're trying to feed displaced people in Sudan from the fighting there, and we got teams working hard. So we need to support our teams forward, but we also got work to do here. But God gives us the best people, the best resources to be able to respond. He gives us the best volunteers. We need volunteers. So if you got people listening, interested, they can go to Samaritan's Purse website, and they can go down, drop down, and figure out how they can get involved. But to be honest, I was supposed to be at the App State Liberty game, this week, that all changed. I've got a great relationship with App State coaches. They love the Lord. We do a Bible study every Wednesday night. That's a tradition that's been going on for 30 years before I ever came home. They got some great coaches and great players. The players, there's about 30 of them that meet for Bible study. So it was going to be a great football game, and that all changed just like that. So it lets you know how fleeting things can be.
Right. This is much bigger than football. And you mentioned the hundreds of volunteers that showed up this morning. How else are you seeing the Lord at work during such a devastating time?
Yeah, we work and we go to meet the immediate needs, and we want people to know they're loved and not forgotten, that they're not forsaken. The most important part of what we do is to share the gospel. I'm not interested in good works. I'm not interested in charity. But God gives us this equipment and resources, and it opens doors. And my wife just called me about a great conversation. I won't go into too much details, but it's someone that never would have normally asked for a work order or asked for help, but they saw us next door, and his wife was on oxygen. And then they were able to go to bless and serve that one individual. There's going to be multiple stories like that. And I think this is where you're going to see sometimes in the greatest tragedy and the great loss, people will learn to truly surrender their lives and hearts over to the Lord. And so that's my prayer. And all that we do and all that happens, even in this great loss, God gets the glory.
You mentioned if there's anyone that can volunteer, come down. Be more specific. How can they learn more about volunteering? And for those who can't have feet on the ground down there in Boone, North Carolina, how can we donate?
Yeah, so you can go to spvolunteer.org, and you can sign up in any of those locations I talked about down in Florida, here in North Carolina, or in Georgia. Or you can go to the Samaritan's Purse website, and that's SamaritansPurse.org. .com, and they'll be dropped down on how to get involved. I really want people praying. If they can't volunteer, of course, be praying no matter what. And we'll find other ways on how you can get involved with Samaritan's Purse on the website.
Well, Edward, thank you so much for your time. Flames Nation is praying for all of you. Thank you again for your hard work and service all around the world to help others. For all of us here at Liberty, we look forward to coming together and doing our part as well.
Unexpected off week for both of you guys. How disappointed were you to hear the game wouldn't be played, but then also, realizing the severity of the situation in North Carolina. What were both of your reactions and just thoughts on the situation?
Prayers out to the people out in North Carolina. That's very unexpected for them. I didn't know that it'd be that severe of a storm, but we were already prepared going into that game. We were excited, to play, App State, because that's an electric environment that I was ready to play in. But that ties into everything that Coach Krantz teaches me in terms of do not take any game for granted, because you never know when it's taken away from you. So real unfortunate, but we got to look at a lesson from anything it comes from. I believe it was another week of rest that we're able to get our bodies back right, and be able to prepare for our next opponent.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. Just as a North Carolina native, just praying for Boone and everything with all the floods. Really, Asheville, North Carolina really got hit the worst in a way. Just me being a North Carolina native, we don't see stuff like that in North Carolina at all. So yeah, it was heartbreaking and that, and just God has a plan for everything. So that it probably was a reason why that happened in a certain way. So. Yeah, we prepped. We was happy to play App State. For me, I'm North Carolina, so going back to play another North Carolina school is probably just one of the biggest things you want to do. But hey, like I said, God has a plan for everything, and it was a reason probably why it happened.
Do you have any family affected by this?
No, I didn't have any family affected. I know I had some friends and stuff affected in Asheville, around that area. I know I had a friend. He posted his house got destroyed by a big old tree in a storm and all that, flooded and all that stuff. But I had a friend at App State, Amani Marshall. He's a running back. I made sure I stay updated with him. Anything he want, make sure if he need anything, I was there to get it to him.
Quentin, talk to me about, and obviously you kind of battled back from injuries to get healthy for the last game. Billy stepped in and played really well in your absence. Talk to me about the connection that you two guys have. Obviously he replaces you as the B-back a lot. What is it like to have two backs like that can pound?
Me and Billy connection is real strong. He's we that big brother mentality, honestly. We always just talk about just how we could be one of the two best running backs in the country, and that's how we feel sometimes. Just to be that, and it's just we compete with each other each and every day. We know what type of skill set we are. We are two different running backs, and just having a Billy running back is just. Having Billy as a running back like that is amazing. He's a different type of running back that brings a different type of game than I do. He's more footsie. He's more electric, elusive sometimes, and I'm more the power back, elusive, and just the run over stuff in most ways. But Billy is good, and that's how it is. And just me battling injuries and him be able to step up in a big role like that is amazing. You always want somebody to have the next man mentality up. So Billy doing that is just great.
You guys both had 100 yards against FIU last year. What do you remember about playing against their defense?
They was a hard physical defense. Their linebacker group was good last year. They did lose number 10. Number 10, he was one of the best linebackers in the conference last year, but they did gain a good linebacker from Georgia Military, number 6. He's a really good linebacker, but they're a physical group. They did a lot of different stuff. Their back end was good in certain ways, but we ran away with it just because we was a new team in the conference. They never probably seen that offense, so it might be different coming Tuesday or whatever they do. They have mixed up a lot of new stuff, so we'll see.
First for Q, then for CJ. Is there a sense of heightened urgency or opportunity knowing that you lost a game and you're only guaranteed 11 of these things now?
I'm not gonna say not really. Yeah, it was heartbroken that we couldn't play the game, but it's on to the next game. Can't let that sink in your head. You got to keep it going with your teammates and stuff, and with the coaches. They have to get us ready for the next game. You can't just rely back and still think about the old game.
Yeah, it just shows that the clock is ticking. Not every game is guaranteed, so just take every one and play with your best opportunity and believe that if you go into every game this could be my last game. you'll play with your best, effort. So just take every game and play great.
Q, what's the biggest difference you've seen in their defense? You said they switched some things up.
Just to they switched the 3 down, 4 down a lot in different ways. They linebackers play more physical, blitzing wise, and different things. His secondary is pretty good coming out. I think they like Coach was talking about earlier, and they got 10 picks in first round games. So their secondary has been a lot of ball hawks and stuff. But they have picked up they blitz stuff. So just different stuff like that. Just picking up on that stuff, and that's what they switched because they didn't blitz us that last year that much like that. But most teams really do that now since they didn't pick up on our offense, so they try to blitz more.
CJ, with their quarterback, how dangerous can he be? How tough is he to get to?
Respect to him. He's been dominant since high school. I've heard about the guy since I was in high school in Miami. He's a Miami native. I respect anybody from Miami because, if you're from Miami, you got that dog in you. So big. I tip my hat to him. I respect him as a quarterback. You just know we got to come out there and just get ready to play because we don't want to give him an inch because he'll take a mile. So we'll come out there and step on his throat.
How are you guys going to navigate just having the one game in a month stretch, basically? You're going to have, obviously, you're off from ECU to the FIU game and then off from the FIU game to the Kennesaw game, or the Middle Tennessee game, or Kennesaw. What's that long break like for you guys?
I feel like another spring, with a bunch of practices and no game. But, we should take this time to, take our fundamental to the next level. I believe you could change your ways as a player with the big amount of break we have, take time to get fresh. And, when it's time to play, we should be very physical and ready to go.
And just bouncing off that, just really trusting into our coaches, our strength and conditioning staff, and nutrition staff, and our training staff, just to keep us healthy in certain ways to get us ready for the games.
And for both of you guys, I look at I did a comparison of the stats of the first 4 games last year, first 4 games this year. Everything was better from last year, but you're not that far off. Rushing, it might be one less rushing yard per carry, one less sack at this time, from a year ago. Do you guys feel like you're pretty close to where you were a year ago?
Last year is last year to me, honestly. It's a new year. Really don't pertaining to all that, honestly. But it's a new team. It's a new team. It's a new year. You can't say it's a new me because I'm the same person in a way. But I don't feel like it's a certain way. I just feel like I'm a better person when it comes to leading my team in a certain way. Not just my skills and stuff now and all that. The stacks, it really doesn't matter right now to me. I know that's probably a crazy thing to say right now because it's my last year and stacks is probably a big thing to get to the next level. But that doesn't matter right now. It's a matter about just getting my team ready, the young guys ready, and just people like CJ beside me just to make sure he's ready. Also the ball out in a certain way in the game. So looking at them stacks, I haven't really tried to notice that or anything. Just trying to find my identity with the offense and just to keep us going.
I try not to get too tied into stats because I remember last year I think I was going to the game 4. I only had 4 tackles. And this time I got 17, 18. So it's in college it can turn around quick. You can go from having a 1 tackle game to the next game. Now you have 9 tackles. I believe every game is for a certain group. One game could be for the corners. One game could be for the D-line. I could come in 9 tackles. Next week I got 1 tackle. So, I just like to keep playing because I believe, it's all going to come. It all comes. So I don't usually, get all tied into it for real.
At Carter Bank.
That was Quentin Cooley, Liberty running back, and C.J. Bazell, defensive end. And Edward Graham from Samaritan's Purse, the beginning of that audio segment there. And appreciate those guys coming on our show here tonight. Our weekly radio show, Talking Liberty Football, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. When we come back, we'll wrap up our show here from Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg. We'll focus in on FIU and get Coach Chadwell's thoughts on his defense that continues to impress each week out. So we'll be back in 2 minutes to wrap things up from Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg. This is Liberty Football from Van Wagner.
Bank and Trust, we believe in a life lived full of plans, promise, and continuous growth. It's why our checking and savings accounts make it easy for you to earn high interest on your balance, so your money grows faster, all backed with the digital banking tools you need. So there's nothing holding you back from living life to the fullest. Open your new Carter Bank checking or savings account online in minutes at cbtcares.org or visit your local branch. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Athletics. Athletics, member FDIC.
Curious about the Central Virginia housing market? Carl Miller Realty are your caring, competent, trusted advisors for real estate sales in Central Virginia. With over 100 years of combined experience, they are committed to helping clients make informed housing decisions. For a winning game plan and to discover the value of your home, visit carlmillerrealty.com to make your next move a slam dunk.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Thompson Brooks Insurance has been serving Virginia for over 40 years, helping individuals and businesses with their insurance and investment needs. The team at Thompson Brooks is experienced in understanding life and health insurance, Medicare, and retirement planning. Thompson Brooks Insurance can be reached at 434-385-8500 or online at thompsonbrooksinsurance.com. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow.
Century Exteriors offers exterior home renovations, including but not limited to gutters, roofing, siding, home additions, and much more. Century Exteriors makes the process seamless. Call 434-239-6722 for a free on-site estimate or visit centuryexteriors.com and Century Exteriors on Facebook and Instagram. Century Exteriors is a proud supporter of Liberty Flames Athletics.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
Final few minutes from Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg tonight. Our Liberty Football Show with head coach Jamey Chadwell is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Great crowd on hand once again. Very vocal crowd. We're going to hear from one of our fans in a minute. Coach has a question about your team, and look forward to getting that in here in just a minute. Quick take on your defense. We went through your offense earlier in the show. Defensively, you're starting to get some takeaways, which became so synonymous with your team a year ago, and that Joker mask, it's starting to be more prevalent here in 2024.
Yeah, it disappeared there for a while, so it was good to be back. I think our defensive line, Joker's defensive line, we got a lot of depth, which is shown because of some of the injuries. I think Brenton Williams is really starting to show up, who's getting better there, behind a C.J. Bazille, which has been great. Elite has been playing elite up front, who somebody maybe we were thinking, does he have a role like this year as a redshirt freshman? He's averaging 15 to 20 plays a game and really playing well up front. I think our linebacker depth has showed up. We played a lot of guys there, and I think we've really solidified that piece. And we got some young guys that are getting better to compare with those older guys. And then in our secondary, because we've been injured, we've had to play some guys more so than others. I think Dexter Ricks is really playing well. He's playing at a high level, which was needed because Mo Williams has been hurt. Elijah Hopkins has been hurt. And those guys are getting healthy and they're coming back. And so I think we've created some solid depth there at the corner position, and then at safety position we felt like that was going to be a strength with Brylan and Corey coming back, and they've played well. And so I think our secondary is growing, but I really think our young guys that we wanted to see how they were coming along, I think these guys have developed at a good rate, and that's allowed us to play. In my opinion, I think we've played really solid defense, all year long. Where we have to change or improve on defense is we have the capability on defense of really like shutting people down, and we have lapses.
Yeah.
And those lapses have to stop. That's the thing. If we want to be an elite defense, you can't have lapses. You got to be on all the time, and we've got to figure out how to do that.
All right, Coach, we're going to go in the audience for one question here. Again, give us your name and your question for Coach.
Hey, I'm George.
George.
Good to talk to you again, Coach.
Yeah, George.
I know when Coach Saban was at Alabama, he popularized the term rat poison, which has become kind of a part of the college football lexicon now. And I know we don't get the press that Alabama does yet.
There you go.
But with you guys being defending conference champions, coming in 4-0, you got a 2-3 team coming in. I know players can get on social media, read clippings and things like that. How do you guard against starting to believe all the hype and keeping focus?
Well, that's a good question. Our guys have seen us play. We've not really played our best yet, so that's one. I think, it'd be different if we were just sort of rolling everybody. We've not been, and so we're still for the most part, a work in progress. So I think that's part of how you can, hey, we got ways to get better. I think, two, is you can take out a record because you're in a conference. They're 1-0 in the league, and we're 2-0. And so no matter what's happened prior to, they see they come up and get a win. They're leading the league, and they've got the pathway to the championship game, right? And so for our guys, what we've shared is, hey, once you're in a conference, like, hey, the only way we're going to get an opportunity to get another game is if we can get to a conference championship. And so that's been our way of really focusing on that. But more than overall, on top of all that, we talk about all the time is it's never about who we're playing. It's always about playing Liberty's best. And if we always put that up against what we're capable of, hopefully that allows us to stay locked in. Now, it's hard because everybody, this and all that and this, and then and then our fans are upset when we're not winning 52-0, and what's wrong with us and all those things. But our guys need to. We work hard focusing on just us and playing the way we're capable of, and we've not done that yet. So that's been our challenge. Is our best is out there. When are we going to get to it? And so hopefully, guys focusing on that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, George.
Flames.
Flames. Thank you, George. All right, Coach, FIU 2-3. For the fans here listening and watching and at Mellow Mushroom, all right, 2-3, a little bit misleading. You mentioned that in your media conference earlier today. They played Indiana tough. Indiana's undefeated.
Yep.
They rolled them out with Central Michigan 52-16. They lost at FAU, in-city rival, 38-20. They turned it over five times. So take that what you will for that 18-point loss. 45-42, Monmouth beat them at FIU. If you watch the game, they had a touchdown at the 1-yard line that they fumbled.
They did. They were up 2 touchdowns. They turned it over consecutively, and then he fumbled at the 1 to win the game, and so they are a better team than what they were last year by far. The quarterback's a year older, and they're another year in that system because it was a new system last year. And I think defensive, they've really improved their overall athleticism. So it's a good group. And again, we're not judging by that. They're easily sitting here at 4-1 easily. I'm not saying they beat Indiana, but they're easily sitting at 4-1. A couple of things go their way. I mean, you turn it over 5 times, it's impossible to win a game doing that. And so you have to assume they're not going to turn it over. They're going to come in with a lot of confidence. And 2, they're going to come in a lot of excitement because they're going to be playing in front of a big crowd, which they don't do often. And so I always tell people that people don't realize when people come to Lynchburg, man, they know there's going to be a good crowd, going to be a student. They're amped for that because a lot of our conference opponents don't get that type on the road at all, And so we got to go out and play well. And my biggest concern is, one game and how many days, and then do you lose that rhythm you had? Do you lose that intensity that you had, the building of you feel like you got a ball rolling, right, and it's starting to roll and roll and roll, and you feel good about it. Then boom, automatic, there's a stop, and now you got to try to turn it back on, and then also be ready for a physical game, and then not beat yourself up for 2 weeks to get ready for it. So it's a hard challenge.
And the winner is in the driver's seat for the early, conference standings. Both teams undefeated right now.
We could be 3-0 and then go into another open date, and so I mean that's if you can get 3-0, you're almost halfway there, right, to have a chance. And so, and what you're learning about the league, there's some good teams this year. Some of the teams that have beat out of conference opponents has been Israel. I mean, Western Kentucky. They're easily 4-1 right now if they win at Boston College. And Sam Houston's playing well, so there's a big challenge for us to come out and play well on Tuesday night.
All right, Jamey, appreciate the time here once again for our weekly show. Have a good rest of the week, a good weekend, and we'll talk to you Tuesday.
Thanks, Flames.
Flames. That's head coach of Liberty football, Jamey Chadwell. His 4-0 Flames take on FIU on Tuesday, midweek on the Mountain. Tickets are going fast. More information, lufootball.com. Come on out to the Fan Fest as well before the game and enjoy all the pomp and circumstance. Be there for the team walk and then the the pregame band with the national anthem. Dr. Larry Sipe, shout out to the band as well. And the cheerleaders and all that good stuff. And the fans as well that came out to Mellow Mushroom as we shifted to Thursday in October. All right, that'll do it for our show. Of course, for head coach Jamey Chadwell, our video producer Jamie Hall, and Cody Whitman, our in-house engineer. I'm Alan York. Liberty FIU Tuesday, 7 o'clock, Williams Stadium. We will see you there. Have a good rest of your week. And as always, go Flames.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty Football Show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Football Show was also brought to you by Carter Bank and Trust, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames Athletics. Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. Lynchburg Nissan, nobody beats our prices, nobody. Century Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at centuryexteriors.com. And by Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow. The Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union, has been an exclusive presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.